Linkos, Linkos. You're a Linko.
Charlie Kirk hosted a focus group with the chapter presidents about, and it was the most bizarre 17 minutes of content that I think I've seen this entire year. They call it a focus group, and I suppose the intention was to hear from the kids firsthand. Of course, the big story of the past 2 years is that Israel is becoming extremely unpopular. That's to put it mildly. Anti-Semitism has become mainstream. Let's put it that way. Everywhere you look, on TikTok and on Twitter, people are sharing my clips, Jake Shields, Dan Bilzerian, Myron Gaines. And people are not just criticizing, they're talking about Israel's role in 9/11. They're talking about Israel's role in the JFK assassination. They're talking about Israel's designs which have brought America to war in the Middle East for 25 years. They're talking about power and a grand international conspiracy being perpetrated by organized groups that coordinate with each other on an international level. Everyone has become aware of this reality. This is not opinion. This is not hatred. Everyone, because of the liberalization of the internet in the past 2 years, because of Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter and the free speech on the platform, because of TikTok, because censorship...
Are we watching this guy react to this guy or this guy react to this guy?
...has receded, everybody is becoming aware of the brutal reality, which is that Western civilization seems to be influenced extensively by an organized international conspiracy, narratives about atrocities like the and other historical things up to and including October 7th are being used as emotional blackmail, guilt the native populations into accepting a melting pot, multiracial, diverse, tolerant society. This has allowed a small minority that is both a religious and ethnic minority, which is 2% of the population, to rise up and become disproportionately represented and influential in media, Hollywood, finance, banking, government, and they use that influence and that power for nefarious purposes. They use it to consolidate their influence and their wealth. They use it to empower it. They use that influence to get America to fight Israel's wars, among other things. What's more...
General Wesley Clark, when he visited the Pentagon 10 days after 9/11, he was shown a memorandum that came from the Secretary of Defense's desk, Donald Rumsfeld at the time, prominent neocon, and it stated that the U.S. government, U.S. military is going to take out 7 countries in 5 years: Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Iran. None of these countries pose a threat to the United States, obviously. They obviously pose a threat to Israel because they prevent them from accomplishing the Greater Israel Project, which is what the Likud party was founded on accomplishing. All of those countries that I listed, they all supported the Palestinian cause. They were all empathic towards the Palestinian cause, and therefore that made them hostile and a threat to Israel. So this also relates to the Clean Break Memo in 1996, which was written by 3 prominent neocons, David Wurmser, Richard Poro, and Douglas Feith. This was written to the incoming Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, in 1996, and it basically repudiated the 1993 Oslo Peace Accords. Instead of negotiating and using diplomacy and eventually a 2-state solution for the Palestinians, the U.S. will just overthrow all of the regimes that are unfriendly or hostile to Israel. And those included, obviously, the 7 countries in 5 years, which was shown to General Wesley Clark in the Pentagon about 10 days after 9/11.
Or this group is inspired by a religion which is contrary to ours, Although much has been said about Judeo-Christianity, people have learned that this is not only not a real thing, but actually an oxymoron. Is defined by its rejection and actually hatred of Christ and Christians, and Christianity is defined by its deification of Christ, and the Christians are his followers. All of this has come to light because censorship and cancel culture has gone away, because the truth is no longer being suppressed actively and intensively. Now everybody is becoming educated and aware. As a result, people no longer support it. People are sympathizing with Palestine. And this has created a real problem, because a massive operation has been built up in America to lobby our people and our government on Israel's behalf. Because if we support Israel, we vote for pro-Israel candidates, or at the minimum look the other way, and the money and the support and the guns and the wars keep flowing in Israel's direction. Now that Israel is losing that supportive constituency,